It's a lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet TV Main News. To present, my name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Our top stories in the news tonight: Dr. TASILA TEMBO remembered after 1 year as family awaits court ruling of her alleged killer. Thieves vandalizing ZESCO electric cables terrorize MTENDERE compound. Education sector reforms in 2022 unrealistic, charges Green Party President Peter SINKAMBA. In international news, President Biden meets Pope at the Vatican ahead of climate talks. And in sports news, MWEPU scores as BRIGHTON draws with LIVERPOol.
Are you a small to medium enterprise looking to advertise your products and services within your community and across Zambia? In these economic times, we are here to help you grow your business. Advertise with us on Camnet Market. Camnet Market is offering lower rates for prime time advertising between 06 to 18 hours every day to give your business an edge under the new normal and beyond. For more details, contact us on the following numbers: 097 975 3010 or 096 296 5883, as well as 096 244 726. You can also reach us via email on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hello once again, another news in detail. 5 houses in Lusaka's MTENDERE compound have been left in the dark after suspected armed robbers stole electric cables that transmit electricity from the poles to the people's houses. The residents have told Camnet TV that the thugs were seen with a firearm, which they threatened to use should the residents fail to comply. And the residents have called on ZESCO to quickly rush to the area to disconnect the live cables which the thugs have left hanging before lives are lost. Meanwhile, Area Councillor Boniface Chiveka has called on police officers to intensify night patrols in the area, considering that this is the second time in a space of 1 month.
Barely a month after some residents of Lusaka's MTENDERE compound woke up to a shock after noticing that some thugs had stolen electric cables transmitting electricity from the ZESCO post to their homes, the thugs have once again hit, and this time around, 5 houses have been load-shedded after armed criminals vandalized electric cables, leaving some of the live cables in a dangerous position. The residents have reported that ZESCO, when called upon, has not been responding quickly to their calls, as the live cables pose a serious threat to their lives.
Blackout, so it's a ganza, yaenda malaiti. So kuka kusenta peza ya malaiti vajua kebo. So in a banana pempa kucheva ZESCO like konzeri.
My neighbors about 7 Munum Road in the street. So what I would like to say is that I don't know how the procedures are, because we've reported today to the police, from the police. They have told us we will go 16 hours. But looking at others that were cut off, they have been waiting even up to now. Problem was the boy is sorting out. So ZESCO in the how long are we going to wait? Because rain season here, and so
others who have been affected have complained that if electricity is not restored to their homes on time, they risk losing resources, as their tenant will not agree to pay money when their house has no electricity.
So the landlords here, school, but there's no money, somebody to pay us. Just because of what? There's no electricity today for our tenants. Please, use ZESCO. Please help us.
And the area councillor Boniface Chiveka, who rushed to help the resident, narrates what transpired.
5 houses are involved, and they've understand, according to the eyewitnesses on the other house there, the robbers came with a vehicle and a gun. According to what they saw, that they even had a gun, and they shouted, they even threatened to shoot them. That's when they sped off with the vehicle. But by the time they are speeding off, they had already cut all the 5 houses, all the service cables for the houses.
The councillor, however, says the measures put in place to prevent the live cables from electrocuting the residents are temporal and need the intervention of ZESCO before the onset of the rain season.
This service cable is a live cable. There's power here, so it was hanging somewhere here. That's around this. That is about 50 centimeters above the ground. So I had to put a cut-off plastic container there, tie it and secure it there, so that to secure it, so that to prevent any loss of life or harm to anyone here.
With increased cases of ZESCO cables being targeted by thugs, are the police doing enough patrols to ensure that criminals who take advantage of the dark are brought to book? Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The family of the late TASILA TEMBO, who was found murdered near Mikango Barracks in October 2020, say they are still left with unanswered questions about what really happened to their loved one 1 year down the line. Speaking during Dr. Tembo's memorial service Saturday, family representative Reverend Moses Mwale states that the family needs closure on the matter, as the brutal murder of their family member has taken a toll on their lives and contributed to the passing of the victim's mother in February 2021, who fell into depression. Meanwhile, Medical Women Association of Zambia President Dr. Cheswa Vualika has described Dr. Tembo as one of the few accomplished female medical doctors who contributed positively to the country's health sector. More in this report.
On 29th October 2020, the body of a 47-year-old medical doctor TASILA TEMBO was discovered in a decomposed state covered with leaves near Mikango Barracks after she had been missing for a few days. Dr. TEMBO once served as Ministry of Health Deputy Spokesperson and was widely known for her program Your Health Matters on the national broadcaster. After investigations were launched, Dr. Tembo's boyfriend, Lieutenant Nigo Mwawa, was apprehended as it was reported that they were having problems at the time of her death. 1 year later, family, friends, and medical doctors gathered at Dr. Tembo's gravesite to remember one of the accomplished female doctors that the country could boast of.
Jesus, Lord Jesus Christ, who died for me.
Dr. Tembo's children have narrated how life has changed after their mother's death, saying they have lost a role model who motivated them to work hard in life.
Days I would cry myself to sleep, and days your beautiful smile popped up in my head and I would smile to myself. It's true what they say, a mother's love can never be replaced, and a mother's love is the strongest. There would be days I smile to myself and remember how proud you were, even in my smallest achievements, and that always pushed me to do better. But now, the motivation to do better is hard to find, but I always tell myself, and I always tell myself, and will always be okay, because I know that Mommy is still watching over us. I love you so much, and I miss you beyond measure.
1 year since you left us, Mom. Not a day goes by without you coming to our thoughts. We miss you so much, Mommy, the perfect mother we could ever ask for. We miss your warm hugs, your warm smile, a smile that would brighten up anyone's day. We miss your positivity and warm energy. We long for it all, Mom. Your love and kindness was like no other.
Meanwhile, speaking to Camnet News, family representative Reverend Moses Mwale, who is Dr. Tembo's cousin, says the family would like to see the matter being concluded.
When she died in October, her mother went into a coma until her demise in February this year. So the death has been quite devastating on the family, so much that the healing process is really taking long. And what is contributing to taking long in the healing process is the fact that up to now, there seems to be uncertainty in as far as the case that involves her mother is concerned. We are aware that the suspect was apprehended. We are aware that the suspect has been presented before the courts of law. And our own concern is that it is 1 year down the line. And we want to believe that something can be done to expedite the case so that the case is closed. So the family has some closure in as far as that case is concerned, to know who really murdered her, what happened in the process, the motive behind the murder.
Representing medical doctors, Medical Women Association of Zambia President Dr. Cheswa Vualika says Dr. Tembo's death brought a huge loss to Zambia's health fraternity as it lost one of its gallant female medical doctors.
Today we remember Dr. TASILA Tembo, We remember how almost every week she was on our television sets on the program Your Health Matters, where she raised awareness on many illnesses and how they could be prevented, or just taught us on what those illnesses were about and how they could be treated. So her passing really left a big gap, because as you have noticed, that program actually doesn't appear anymore. But apart from that, for us who were her friend, she was one who was such a mentor. She was one who encouraged a lot of people.
Dr. Tembo is survived by 3 children. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Minister of Finance and National Planning, Dr. Stumbeko Msokotwane, says the focus of the 2022 national budget is on securing a well-educated and healthy human resource, which is key to the country's development. Speaking during a budget analysis dinner held by the Zambia Institute of Chartered Accountants, ZICA, Friday night, Dr. Msokotwane adds that the new administration will not shun investors, as they are key to job creation, but will ensure that they respect the rights of Zambian citizens. Meanwhile, speaking at the same event, ZICA President Ms. Cecilia Zimba states that while the 2022 national budget cannot solve all of the country's social and economic challenges, it will help to significantly improve social and economic sectors. More in the following report.
The long-awaited 2022 national budget by the United Party for National Development UPND administration was finally unveiled on Friday and has delighted majority of citizens, as it has come packed with hope of employment, among other promises to the Zambian people. Minister of Finance and National Planning Dr. Stumbeko Msokotwane took time to break down the budget to the Zambian people at a budget analysis dinner on Friday night held by the Zambia Institute of Chartered Accountants, ZICA. The minister says the focus of the budget is to view Zambia's human resource as raw material needed to develop the country. In this vein, he states that this is the reason the new administration has placed an emphasis on health and education to ensure a well-educated and healthy human resource. Dr. Msokotwane says the country needs to learn from countries such as Vietnam, which were poorer than Zambia only a few decades ago, but have today become one of the leading world economies.
Human beings, yes, when we are born, we are human beings. But we're just like raw material. To get raw material, to get cotton into a shirt, you need to process it. So similarly, to get a human being, from being a mere human being to someone who can contribute positively to the economy of this country, they need to be processed, and that processing is called human capital, or rather investment in human capital. So, human capital development elsewhere has made dramatic changes in the manner in which those economies can be transformed. When you are talking about Japan, Taiwan, Philippines, Thailand, they don't have much natural resources. What has made the difference is the human capital, knowledge of human beings. So, as UPND, we are going to invest into human capital as long as it takes.
The Minister of Finance and National Planning asked that the new administration will not shun away investors, but ensure that Zambians are not abused or disadvantaged in the process.
We are open to investments, whether it's in agriculture, whether it's tourism, whether it's manufacturing. Let's accept that. It's not to say that we are forgetting about Zambians. The Zambians are always going to support. No doubt about it. We are always going to support the Zambians. Because if we don't support the Zambians, who else is going to do it? But we must be tactful. We must be strategic in these things. So therefore, to cut the long story short, we are going to attract investments in mining, so that next 10 years we produce our target of 3 million tons of copper.
Meanwhile, ZICA President Ms. Cecilia Zimba says the budget looks promising and hopes it will alleviate Zambia's many social and economic challenges.
The economic outlook of the 2022 budget, tax implications of the 2022 budget, budget green enough? Macroeconomic and social impact of the budget and resetting the path for Zambia's economic growth. It is my belief that the budget will indeed impact significantly on each of these areas, and as such, the discussions and presentations during this occasion will bring to the fore the budget implications on the people of Zambia.
Hopes among citizens remain high as they await to see the new administration fulfill its promises. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Buy Zambia campaign has applauded the announcement by government through Minister of Finance and National Planning, Dr. Stumbeko Msokotwane, on the ban on the importation of school desks in order to promote local production. In an interview, Organization Executive Director Mr. Evans Ngoma states that apart from creating jobs for the locals, this will also add value to the country's timber sector. Mr. Ngoma has meanwhile advised government to ensure mass skills impartation in youths to capacitate them to meet the pronouncement.
As we have seen also the government highlighting that there will be no longer importation of school furniture. These are desks. This again, it is one of the clear way of creating jobs within Zambia. You will realize that the number of schools in Zambia today do not have school furniture. And so now, if this can be actualized, it will mean that the government is going to save a lot of money importing these desks, because now they will be fabricated within the boundaries of Zambia. So we are urging government to try and speed up, through the Ministry of Small, Medium and Enterprises, to try and speed up the processes of empowering these youths with the relevant skills so that they can produce value for money school furniture, because I think that is more eminent. We will be seeing more youths now venturing into carpentry activities, steel fabrication, because this is a matter of two products. You know, we've got the timber part as well as the steel part. So we are calling on the youths to try and see this opportunity and make a just move.
Green Party President Peter Sinkamba has charged that the United Party for National Development UPND lacks understanding, as evidenced from the budgetary allocation to some sectors, among them the education sector. Mr. Sinkamba notes that government may not be aware of the challenges learning institutions are facing, especially colleges and universities. The Green Party leader has, to this effect, predicted an escalation of problems in the tertiary sector, especially from lecturers and students. In the 2022 national budget, government has proposed changes in the education sector, which include construction of new schools in Western, Northwestern, Southern and Copperbelt provinces, recruitment of 30,000 teachers, scrapping off user fees in primary and secondary schools, and decentralization of the bursary and loan schemes, approval to the ward level. The Zambia Federation of Employers, ZFE, has called on employers in the formal job market in Zambia to come up with company policies of prioritizing employment opportunities to persons with disabilities if they possess the necessary skills, stating that numbers of persons with disabilities in formal employment setups remain low. In an interview with Camnet TV, ZFE Executive Director Mr. Harrington Chimanda states that while putting factors such as gender into consideration, other minority groups such as persons with disabilities should also be considered in order to create equality in the employment sector. He adds that policies such as offering a tax credit to employees who will employ persons with disabilities have been offered by government, but most employers seem unwilling to embrace this group of potential employees.
Employers out there, I think first we should look at the person with disability as human beings, just like any person who hasn't got a disability. For as long as that person with a disability has got the skills that may be required in being able to perform in a certain job, I think they should be considered for a job. And that actually makes me also bring in the point of when we talk about employability of persons with disability, we should equally talk about the kind of skills that persons with disability should also strive to acquire, the employable skills that everyone else is actually acquiring, so that they can compete favorably with everyone else.
United Party for National Development, UPND National Deputy Youth Chairperson Trevor Mwinde has urged management at the University of Zambia to address challenges that students are facing to avoid the trend of the youths running amok due to such challenges, as it has many negative effects, among which is destruction of public property. Earlier this week, UNZA students marched to State House to air their grievances, among which they say is the sudden increment in their tuition fees, as well as the rising number of students who get left out on scholarship loans. Meanwhile, UNZA Acting Registrar Mr. Roger Spiri says the increment in tuition fees was due to technical fault, which is in the process of being rectified. More in the following report.
Institutions of higher learning in Zambia, such as the University of Zambia UNZA and the Copperbelt University CBU, are associated with frequent riots due to student dissatisfaction with management in dealing with student affairs. Students have often taken to the streets and set public property on fire, as well as destroying vehicles. These institutions have also witnessed frequent indefinite closures due to the same, which has disrupted the delivery of education. United Party for National Development, UPND National Deputy Youth Chairperson Mr. Trevor Mwinde has urged management at these institutions to utilize dialogue under the new administration to ensure that riots are avoided. He was speaking in a meeting with UNZA management after learning that students at the institution marched to State House on Wednesday to air their grievances concerning an increment in the tuition fees, as well as the rising number of students who get omitted on student loans.
One of the key things is that students have experienced, it's not a very big increment in terms of, it's a minor, minimal increment in terms of the tuition fees in certain disciplines without a proper notification. And there has also been a situation where over the years the students have been omitted on the list of those that are qualified to be on bursary, but there's been not a slight increase. The number has gone, subject to your confirmation. We are here not to show the absolute knowledge aspect, but we are here to inquire as we began. We have heard that numbers are about 500 for students that have been omitted from the bursaries. And I know that there's a bursaries committee, which of course may have a portfolio of a spokesperson. But if there was such an anomaly, what has the institution, the highest learning institution, done to try and mitigate?
Meanwhile, UNZA Acting Registrar Mr. Roger Spiri says the increment is due to a technical problem which caused the deduction for some students and an increment for others.
From first year fee, second year fee, it will be the same until this year when it is reduced. So that is when they said it was an increase. It's not an increase. We are just normalizing and correcting. So that is the real issue on this outcry of saying there was I had a student from Ridgeway campus who came. They said, no, we realize this is what happened. But please give us time because we've just, I said, but you people, you would have come. In fact, two of them at the beginning of the year came and said, have you reduced fees? So we thought maybe it was just those two people. And we corrected that. So it's not an increase. It was just normalizing the fee that they were paying.
UNZA Chief Financial Officer Mr. Arnold Kapambwe has also spoken out.
Now the other students who don't like queuing and they don't bother, maybe because their parents are affluent and they don't bother to queue up and screen on time, they are the ones who get left out. Both on the listing of those who have got a bursary, as well as the meal allowances. So I am really clarifying things here because there is some responsibility remains with students, and we are aware that about 2 weeks ago, I think that's when the loans board came here and finalized the additional screening. This is not even the first screening. I think they've been here 3 times. So they came. So any students who has not screened, they are now at liberty to go to the loans board and go and screen there. Because the screening which was there was a large group, but those who might feel they've been left out should just carry their letter, because the names of those who have been given bursaries appears in the newspaper for all to see.
It is hoped that things at Zambia's institutions of higher learning will quiet down, unlike has been the trend of student unrest. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
You're watching Camnet TV News and not just another channel. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
This is the Rusitu Irrigation Project. It's a government project funded by the World Bank through IDSP.
The project involved laying over 18 kilometers worth of interlinked water pipes that will supply water to the 280 hectares land for small-scale and commercial farmers in Rusitu of Chirundu district. We worked on 35 kilometers of the road network and also constructed 159 concrete water hydrants of different sizes in all 3 tiers. The state-of-the-art water pumping station at the banks of the Zambezi is fitted with 9 water pumps, a dedicated concrete reservoir, a 500 kV automated standby generator, a fully automated pump switching system that is interlinked with a second reservoir of 27,000 cubic liters capacity, which is fitted with 7 water pumps, a standby generator and floater tanks for that extra water pressure on the irrigation lines. Savenda Construction is grateful to the Zambian government and the World Bank for giving us the opportunity to be part of the history of Rusitu, as the project will benefit over 282 households once completed, and is just one of the many that Savenda Construction has embarked on, owing to its track record and capacity to deliver as per requirement. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
The trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the... She has so much data.
Mom?
Yes, baby?
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
Are you a small to medium enterprise looking to advertise your products and services within your community and across Zambia? In these economic times, we are here to help you grow your business. Advertise with us on Camnet Market. Camnet Market is offering lower rates for prime time advertising between 06 to 18 hours every day to give your business an edge under the new normal and beyond. For more details, contact us on the following numbers: 097 975 3010 or 096 296 5883, as well as 096 244 726. You can also reach us via email on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. Minister of Technology and Science Felix Mutati says there is need to expand innovative hubs to other provinces to support as many innovations as possible, access financing for their businesses and ideas. Speaking when he visited Bongo Hive in Lusaka Saturday, the minister says government has presented its budget, which is ready to support business ideas, hence the need to get organized. Mr. Mutati says innovation is the only way to solve some society challenges and should be promoted and supported. Meanwhile, Bongo Hive's Likonga Lindunda says there is need for more partners to come on board and help finance the hubs in order to support more innovations.
So if one person can say they can invest between $2,000 and $5,000, if 10 angels come together, they can invest $50,000 in a startup, because if startups require more investment. So this is one way of bringing citizens and those who have got some money that they can put in to be able to do that. And of course, mentorship is something that's very important. So we've been teaching local business people and professionals how to become mentors through a program that is called the Mentor-Driven Capital, with the hope that after they learn how to mentor and work closely with entrepreneurs, they can become the future leaders.
We have a situation in Zambia where we've got creative minds that have got solutions that are not linked to the other section of Zambia that has got problems. So we came here as a ministry to be the bridge between those that have got creative solutions and those that have got a problem. Okay, so the ministry will act as a bridge. So we'll end up with an MOU and say, can we have an innovation hub where startups can use the expertise and knowledge of Bongo Hive, government providing the infrastructure and venture capital.
One United Africa, an organization whose goal is to revive and restore the fire of Afrocentricism, which was ignited by political leaders, has applauded the Zambian youths for the role they played in the August 12 general election. Addressing the media ahead of the African Union Youth Day, which falls on the 1st of November, Congressman Bimbo Daramola says Pan-Africanism is key to meeting the development aspirations of the continent for it to be a friendly place to live in for every African without borders. Congressman Daramola has noted that the Zambian youths understood what they needed to do in ensuring that while they had different opinions in politics, peace was placed at the center of their decision, an act he says has attracted international recognition.
Everybody on this continent and beyond recognizes the fact that the Zambian young people, the youth of Zambia, shocked the world with regards to the last election. It is not even so much of literacy now. It is much more about conviction and knowledge. Everybody also knows that election in Africa is warfare. In Nigeria, blood all over the place has because of election. But Zambian youth shocked the world. So, for all of these reasons, and why our event is coming rather late, is because people are members of Sudan from everywhere saying, no, come to Sudan, come to this, come to that. Nigeria says, I don't know. And so we put it out that give us the justification why you want this to go to your country. Give us the justification why you must go to your country. And by wide margin, you know, when we were chatting and conversing and trying to get all of this done, you will see all kinds of, oh, this is why we must go to Ghana, this is why we must go. And then when all of these reasons were used for Zambia, you will ask me, oh, makes sense. Very true. I agree. That. And overwhelmingly, everybody said we should come to, but for flight connections, we have seen the Sudanese here, we have seen in Kenya, we have seen in Tanzania here. But we couldn't wait to put all of that together.
Tourism Minister Rodney Sikumba says Zambia will cut visa fees by 50% for Turkish visitors as Zambia looks forward to the resumption of Turkish airline flights to Zambia following the suspension due to COVID-19. Speaking when he graced the reception marking the 98th anniversary of the proclamation of the Republic of Turkey last night, the minister said the initiative by the Turkish government to have direct flights between the two countries in 2018 helped Zambia to realize its investment agenda of becoming a regional hub. He said the initiative has continued to play a key role in the promotion and strengthening of economic, social and cultural interactions between Zambia and Turkey. The minister said government also recognizes the important role Turkey plays as a donor country through the Turkish International Cooperation and Development Agency, TICA. He assured the Turkish government of the commitment by Zambia to implement the 12 agreements and memorandum of understanding in the fields of agriculture, stock breeding, fisheries, tourism, trade and investment, sports, forests and diplomacy signed between the two countries when Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan visited the country in 2018. And Turkish ambassador to Zambia, Istem Sesiroglu, said there is no country that can succeed without the involvement of others. You're watching Camnet TV News. We'll take another break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
Are you a small to medium enterprise looking to advertise your products and services within your community and across Zambia? In these economic times, we're here to help you grow your business. Advertise with us on Camnet Market. Camnet Market is offering lower rates for prime time advertising between 06 to 18 hours every day to give your business an edge under the new normal and beyond. For more details, contact us on the following numbers: 097 975 3010 or 096 296 5883, as well as 096 244 726. You can also reach us via email on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. And now in international news, fishing has the potential to become a profitable industry in Libya, but a lack of attention and investment by authorities into marine infrastructure has left it neglected, fishermen say. In other news, U.S. President Joe Biden has visited Pope Francis at the Vatican to discuss the climate crisis and the coronavirus pandemic. After the two-day G20 meeting, Biden will head to Glasgow for the COP26 United Nations Climate Summit. We now have a roundup of international news.
President Biden with the Pope, a deeply personal and spiritual moment for the US's second ever Catholic president, but also a chance to discuss the most pressing issues. At the top of the list, the climate emergency. The Biden administration had hoped by now to have passed its massive spending legislation, giving the president the ability to match his words on climate with action. But there's been no breakthrough. As the US president toured Rome with his motorcade of 85 vehicles, the UN Secretary-General said all roads to success at the climate conference in Glasgow in just a few days pass through Rome. What is the minimum G20 countries must deliver at this summit for there to be a chance of a success at COP26 in Glasgow?
We are still above what the scientists tell us that are the levels of emission that should be needed in 2030 and in 2050. And it is clear that it leads nowhere if developed countries will try to blame emerging economies and emerging economies will try to blame developed countries. This is the moment for everybody to do the maximum.
G20 leaders have been arriving in the Italian capital, including some like the Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison and the Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro, who face the most criticism from climate campaigners. A senior UN source has told me that the pre-summit negotiations conducted by the leaders' envoys, known as Sherpas, have been extremely difficult. There's been some positive movement on the global distribution of COVID-19 vaccinations, but on the key issue, the climate emergency, there's been absolutely no progress. Another issue complicating things is the fact that some leaders, notably Russia's President Putin and China's President Xi, will not be travelling to Rome or Glasgow and will be attending this G20 remotely.
It's sunrise in Tripoli. As a new day begins in this fishing marina in the area of Souk al-Jum'a, some of these fishermen are preparing to go out to sea. Others begin coming back after an early start with their catch of the day. Lutfi has been fishing these waters for decades. He says there's a lot of opportunity in the fishing industry, but it's difficult financially because of its high cost.
Libya has a beautiful coastline and is rich in fish. If the government looked at the sector and cleaned the waters, built up our infrastructure, it would encourage young men to work in the sector and the situation would be much better than now.
Libya has Africa's longest coastline on the Mediterranean. It extends over 1,800 kilometers. Its abundance in sea life could make Libya a premier exporter of seafood, contribute to achieving food security, and create new job opportunities. But a lack of government funding and marine infrastructure has left the sector neglected. The higher cost for fishermen is passed along to customers. It's also led many to send their goods to neighboring countries like Tunisia, where they'll get a higher price.
Our main problem is the export of fish. Many customers complain that the fish is too expensive, or there isn't any good fish in the market. That's because all the good fish is exported.
El Ajeli works for the Ministry of Marine Resources. He says with the right planning and investment, Libya's fishing industry could be an important source of income for the government, rather than depend on oil exports.
The fishing marinas are in very bad shape. They are in dire need of maintenance and renovation. The infrastructure needs revamping and government investment. We are studying how to invest in this important sector so that we can take advantage of it.
The Libyan unemployment rate is estimated to be around 20%, with oil exports representing nearly 95% of the government's annual revenue. Authorities here are now looking to the sea as an alternative for development.
It's now time for sports news. And in sports news, Chipolopolo midfielder Enoch MWEPU scored as his team Brighton and Hove Albion were held to a 2-0 draw with Liverpool in the English Premier League. Jordan Henderson and Senegal striker Sadio Mane got the goals in the first half for Liverpool, but MWEPU's sublime strike reduced the deficit before Leandro Trossard levelled for Albion in the 65th minute. To end the Camnet TV news, we take a look at stories making headlines once again. Dr. TASILA TEMBO remembered after 1 year as family awaits court ruling of her alleged killer. Thieves vandalizing ZESCO electric cables terrorize MTENDERE compound. Education sector reforms in 2022 unrealistic, charges Green Party President Peter SINKAMBA. In international news, President Biden meets Pope at the Vatican ahead of climate talks. And in sports news, MWEPU scores as Brighton draws with Liverpool. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, coming from Psalms 34 verse 18, and it reads, "The Lord is near the brokenhearted, He saves those crushed in spirit." Thanks for watching Camnet TV Main News. My name is Jeffrey Zembo. Bye-bye.